Hello viewers, it is your favorite spoiler from the recap room. For more updates, stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. The Last Frontier's 5th episode opens with a Native American picking Kira up in the middle of nowhere. In a harsh way, she's freezing. After being taken to the tribe and repaired, she should be alright for the time being. Frank and the others are searching for this courier in the meantime. But Havlock calls out to them and makes fun of them. Havlock wants to speak with Frank directly on loudspeaker about his secret, but the group is frantically trying to track down the call. He wants Frank to respond to his query about whether or not he can be trusted in return for his silence. Frank says yes, but his hesitation gives them ample time to track the call back to a location on Parks Highway known as Klondike Lodge. Room 130 is the source of the call. But when Frank finds out that Luke is gone and Kira has been located, his focus is divided. In an attempt to figure out what has happened, our title character rushes over to visit Kira while Sarah is desperate to find their son. Frank displays mugshots of the other escaped prisoners until he locates the correct one while Kira is awake. Sadly, Luke is forced to spend time with Romero, a dangerous man. He is both criminally mad and clinically paranoid. Romero takes Luke captive even though he is aware that Luke won't shoot him in the wilderness. After stealing a salt truck, Romero and Luke depart, claiming they have work to do. Now, it seems that Romero has a grudge against DARPA, where he briefly worked as a surveillance tool builder. That is, until he killed multiple workers during a psychotic episode. Romero takes Luke to a substation, where they retrieve a big metal device that turns off the substation's electricity. To the south of where they are, Luke and Romero take a car to a military research lab. Police alert Harp to potential threats, but the haughty administrators there don't seem to care. A puppy in the bathtub is the only thing the cops discover when they raid cabin 130. Havlock is present, but he is observing Sydney from a distance amid the crowd. While the police inside locate the archive, he vanishes before Sydney can see him. Sydney is worried about this and wants to let Langley know first. Havlock obviously left the archive behind for a reason, and she believes that this is a Trojan horse meant to expose them. Sydney is further perplexed by the fact that Tiago's passports are all fraudulent and his prints are missing from the system. She is aware that her home is bugged, though. She tells Molly to avoid the main line. Havlock just so happens to be there when she hangs up. Sydney is on her own without Frank to support her, and Havlock approaches her, urging Sydney to accompany him. It's undoubtedly enticing given her fondness for him, and he even leaves his revolver on the bar. Frank and Sarah argue back in the bush. It turns out that Havlock provided her a SIM card with a crash recording on it. Frank is furious that she concealed the proof from him. Sarah doesn't see it that way and thinks she's merely keeping him safe. Sadly, a lot of things go wrong at the facility. When Luke tries to stop Romero from hurting other people, he becomes even more suspicious and breaks the machine. But Luke chooses to pretend that they are pursuing him after Romero pulls a gun on him. It gives the child enough time to stab Romero in the leg and flee. A game of manhunt breaks out, and Frank and Sarah arrive barely in time. In the end, Romero is left a twisted, crippled wreck after Sarah crashes the car into him. The pub honors Donnie's memory that evening and even hosts a silent auction. However, their happy feelings are cut short when Molly calls Sydney. The FBI has arrived and is seizing everything. Enraged, Sydney yells at everyone listening to keep her family out of this. Frank is worried about what Havlock might be up to. The archive doesn't seem to contain any national secrets, and the flight deck recording appears to be merely sounds. Rather, it functions as a set of navigational cues similar to those used in avionics. Frank speculates that the courier might be working for the CIA rather than Havlock. It's possible that spyware caused the plane to crash rather than the actual Archive 6 on the hard disk. It's possible that the CIA deliberately brought down the aircraft in order to murder Havlock. In the midst of a domestic dispute with Sarah, Cole pulls Frank aside. After watching Romero's videos, they understand his strategy. A switch that must transmit a signal to the facility when it enters battery backup mode is part of Harp's failsafe procedure. The network will overload with the combined energy of the backup battery and the primary power supply if that switch is missing, resulting in anarchy. The town's power suddenly goes out. Thanks for watching, stay tuned for more updates.